Coming up on the Sports Desk, a week ago we previewed the 2014 football season. Now we get back in the studio to bring you the action. West High gets a little preseason surprise leading up to their first game. Is it all hype or is everything business as usual in the Warrior locker room? And Zamperini Stadium plays host to the season's first nail-biter. You hear it's a game of inches all the time. Will that truth save the Tartars or break their hearts in the home opener? Plus, we've got all the scores from around town as prep sports officially kick off all over the Southland, and it all starts right now. How's it going, Torrance? Good to see you back in the Sports Desk studio for the first time in a long time. I'm your host, Wan Hernandez. Our first action of the week takes us to West Torrance, where the Warriors set out on their first season in the Pioneer League. In back-to-back seasons out of the Bay League, West made an appearance in the CIF Championship game in 2012 and a run to the semifinals in 2013. 29 seniors gone from that squad, though. Fans on deck to see this team with just 4 starters returning. So the Warriors get after it right away. Second offensive snap of the Warriors season. Brett Ogie sneaks through a couple defenders, gets out to the corner, and he's off to the races. 60 yards for the TD. This coming right after Culver City scored a 70-yard TD on their first play from scrimmage. Later in the first, linebacker Brent Benton Shortridge having himself a game. He nabs a pass and has an easy 7-yard stroll into the end zone. Shortridge had 2 INTs and both of them go for touchdowns. West scores 30 points in the first quarter, 30-6 Warriors. Second quarter now, Brett Ogie's going to get the ball on the edge again. He picks up a block, he's in space, and there it is. Check it out, Jackson Ferentinos high-stepping with the escort into the end zone, 37-13 at the half, and the Warriors go on to win 51-13. The Warriors run away with their first game of the season, over 200 yards total, and 5 TDs from Brett Ogie, 4 on the ground, 1 through the air. When I asked him after the game if he could have started the season any better, he said, well, I had 4 touchdowns in the season opener last year, so I figured I just had to do better this year. Brett Ogie is not the only person in West High football program with high expectations, though, but as we learned, even when the standards are higher than most other programs, even the Warriors themselves can catch a surprise or two.
It wasn't long before kicking off the 2014 season, Greg Holt learned his West Warriors had been given the top spot in CIF Southern Section's Division 4. It was a ranking that clearly left out one key to last year's Bay League runner-up.
You know, we lost 29 seniors, and so a lot of the guys playing tonight weren't on the field last year. We had 4 returning starters.
And senior Brett Ogie apparently wanted to answer possible critics immediately, just 2 snaps into the season.
The last 2 years, we've been to the finals and semifinals. So whether we're inexperienced or not, we got to keep our school on the map.
It was only appropriate that one of the mere 4 returning starters from a season ago opened up 2014 with a bang. Top CIF ranking or not, the Warriors seem on a mission to prove something to themselves.
We're growing right now. It's a growing process. So even though the score was pretty good, you know, I think there's a lot of things we can work on, and I'm not trying to be, you know, I'm not trying to ruin the party here, because the guys, I'm really happy for them, and they're happy. But we got some things to work on. We're just so doggone young.
30 first quarter points blew West's season opener wide open from the start. 2 interceptions by senior Benton Thornbridge were the icing on the cake of Ogie's 5 total touchdowns. The 2 returning starters led the way in the box score. But in Ogie's case, those stats made possible by the ever-important big guys up the middle.
Yeah, all 5 of our linemen are new. Actually, one of our linemen is actually a sophomore, but all it means is we're inexperienced, but Coach Holt works us hard, especially the linemen. Linemen condition with the skilled players, so I feel like they're going to have the same tempo we do.
You know, it's hard. Those guys haven't been in the trenches before. All those front 7 guys were new, and so we got some guys that can play, but that was the first time they had to get their pad level down and you know, make sure they're in the proper gaps and whatnot.
New roster or not, with week 1 in the books, the Warriors opened up the season living up to their top billing.
Now, the other Warriors in town are also no stranger to high standards. When we caught up with John Featherstone's squad at El Camino before the season, the talk was all about what the Warriors have been doing to get back to the level of play that program's history leads us to expect. 3-7 in 2012, followed by 5-5 in 2013. In Feather's own words, that 5-5 record could have easily turned into a winning record with a play here and there. They notched their first win of the season right away. This time, the recipe for success was mixing it up behind center. Two Torrance area prep athletes, Joey Notch, a West High alum, and George Hernandez out of North, making big things happen again at the QB position. John Featherstone had his QB splitting snaps in the Warriors' win over Pasadena, with Notch and Hernandez tossing a touchdown apiece. Coincidentally, Joey Notch's touchdown pass was a connection with a North High alum, wide receiver Devontae Jenkins. So plenty of Torrance athletes getting the job done at Elko now. Next up for the Warriors, their first home game against Ventura College, taking place at Redondo High. So we're barely scratching the surface on some of the football action in town. When we come back, we'll have your highlight and recap from the Torrance Tartars season opener. I won't ruin the ending for you, but I will tell you this one came down to the wire, so stick around.
Minds can achieve anything. We make sure they get to college. Federal student aid provides more than $150 billion in grants, loans, and work-study funds to make college possible for anyone with the mind to get there. Because if given the chance, minds will do great things. Federal Student Aid, proud sponsor of the American Mind. Learn more about money for college at studentaid.gov.
If you're like most families, you probably have video game fans in your home. But not every game is right for every kid, which is where the ESRB ratings come in. They help parents make informed decisions for their kids. And there's an easy-to-use mobile app that gives you detailed info on specific game ratings. Video game consoles have parental controls that you can set to block certain games by age rating, so they get all the fun, and you get peace of mind.
Hi, welcome back. Up next, we check in with the Torrance Tartars home opener, taking on a tough Banning Pilots team that hung 50 in their first game a week ago, racking up more than 500 yards rushing in the process. To Zamperini we go. Torrance Tartars jacked to start their season at home. We're going to go first quarter. Tyree Harris moves into Banning territory with a huge run. That sets up the eventual score. Harris with the carry up the gut. Tartars up 6-0. Tyree Harris ran wild all game long, rushing for 170 yards. Later in the first, the Tartar D was on top of their game early. Banning QB Matt Arredondo with the keeper, and Andrew Irvine makes the tackle. The Tartar defense only gave up 84 yards rushing to that Banning team that had over 500 on the ground last week. Second quarter, tied at 6. Vincent Huey connects with Sam Hudson, who takes it in for the score. The Tartars have themselves a 12-6 lead at the half, feeling pretty good. On to the third quarter, tied at 12. Following a costly Torrance fumble, QB Matt Arredondo with a 19-yard touchdown pass to Jansen Navarrete, which gave Banning the 18-12 lead. 8:38 left in the third quarter. Fourth quarter now tied at 18. Penalties would hurt Torrance. Check it out, Banning punts. Tyler Masuli brings on a costly unnecessary roughness penalty. We're going to look at it one more time. Masuli clotheslines Banning's Chris Fernandez. It's not exactly Antonio Brown kicking the punter, but still not allowed. Late in the fourth quarter, Pilots up 26-18 with just under 3 minutes to go. Vincent Huey finds Tyree Harris in the end zone for the 3-yard TD. In the ensuing 2-point conversion, Vincent Huey comes up just inches short of tying the game, and the Pilots hang on to win this one 26-14. 26-24, your final score there. The Tartars lose a heartbreaker at home, but some of their guys put up some very impressive stats. Running back Tyree Harris ran wild like we said. He had 170 yards on the ground and 27 carries. Quarterback Vince Huey, 9 of 20 for 154 yards.
Here come the Tartars.
It was the home opener for the Torrance Tartars as they took on a Banning team that put up 50 points in their season opener last week. And boy, did this game come down to the wire. The Tartars played the Pilots tough throughout the game, but Torrance quarterback Vincent Huey came up just inches short for the tying 2-point conversion. So for the second year in a row, the Banning Pilots get the W over the Torrance Tartars, but Coach Hollis was still pretty happy with his team's performance.
We shut them down most of the game. Our defense played so well, I was jacked. We penalized ourselves. We beat ourselves in the rear end so much, I couldn't believe it, just penalties. But, I told my guys I'm so jacked at the way they played. I am so excited.
Just a lot of mistakes on ourselves, including me. A lot of turnovers, penalties. It was a big hard loss for us.
Torrance was attacking on both sides of the ball, but costly penalties doomed the Tartars and proved to be the difference maker in the game.
That's a good football team, and we kicked their behinds up and down the field. I'm not kidding you. So we don't penalize ourselves, but that's part of the game. Hey, we put up 50, but that's the nature of the game. You better play disciplined football, or you're going to lose.
Despite the loss, Coach Hollis and his Tartars have a lot to be excited about this season. Their defense played lights out, and the 1-2 punch combo of quarterback Vincent Huey and running back Tyree Harris will be exciting to watch as the rest of the season unfolds. From Zamperini Stadium, this is Collin Kushner reporting for the Sports Desk.
On to South High, where the Spartans have plenty to prove. It wasn't until mid-October when Sparty got his first win of 2013. 7 weeks into the season, South did finish the season winning 2 of 4, leaving us all to believe they were on the right track heading into this year. No waiting around through 6 straight losses this time, though. The Spartans collect their first win with some opening night drama. Vinny Bjazovic scored 2 TDs and piled up 66 yards on the ground, only to be outdone by Bailey Bjazovic. With Lawndale driving deep into South Territory, looking to tie it up, Bailey intercepted a pass inside the Spartan 10, sealing an opening week victory for South High. Coming up, 2 more games to break down. North and Bishop were the first and only to hit the gridiron before Labor Day. We see how they fared in week 2.
Trash, cigarette butts, grass clippings, leaves, and pet waste in the gutter are all potential sources of stormwater pollution. Sweep it up, don't wash it down. RecycleTorrance.org. Whenever you change your used motor oil and filter, make sure to recycle them. It's good for the environment and it's good for you. Earn up to 40 cents per gallon by recycling your used motor oil. RecycleTorrance.org.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Think you found every hazard out here today? Think again. The spot you missed could be a killer. That spot on your skin could be skin cancer. If you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills 1 person every hour. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Welcome back. A week ago, the North Saxons stunned Redondo High. Deep into the 4th quarter, Chris Kuwai and Mike Juarez stepped up and made the 2 big plays needed to pull out a heart-stopping 13-10 win. Next up, another Bay League squad at home. And 2 weeks in a row, it's Kuwai and Juarez who have the Bay League's number. MJ had an Al Bundy day, 4 TDs, 2 on the ground and 2 receiving. He even sprinkled in two completed passes to help grow his Paul Bunyan-like resume. Then on D, he added 2 sacks for good measure. Chris Kawhi tossed 3 TDs on 184 yards. It's an impressive enough showing to give the Saxons a top 5 ranking in the Daily Breeze's Prep Football rankings. 2 years ago, the Saxons rode their big 3 of George Hernandez, Devontae Jenkins, and Mikey Gerardo to the CIF championship game. Let's go ahead and jump on the North bandwagon now. Dub these guys the dynamic duo. Bishop Montgomery also collected a W this week. They recover from the season-opening blowout loss right away. Solid defense against Westchester with 3 Knights recording a sack. It all contributes to a shutout effort after Carter London's 2-yard TD run. That touchdown came in the first quarter. It was all the scoring of the day, but it was all the scoring Bishop needed in their first win of the season. Some off-season news on the Bishop Montgomery campus now. Knights guard Stephen Thompson Jr. verbally committed to Oregon State University. He'll be joining his father, former NBA player Stephen Thompson, who is the Beavers' assistant coach. The Knights senior averaged 22 points a game during Bishop's 2013 state championship year, earning himself All-State and All-CIF honors in the process. Off the prep scene, the Circle, September 21st on your calendars when Herbalife's Los Angeles Triathlon comes to Torrance. Last year's triathlon ran from Venice Beach to downtown LA. This year, the course will be done in laps along Torrance Beach and Miramar Park. Before we say farewell now for the day, time to pass along how you can get in touch with the Sports Desk anytime. We're always just an email away when you have a great story idea, you want to invite us out to a game, or just feel like saying hi. All right, everybody, that wraps up our first week back in studio. We will see you next time.